Previously we learned about authenticating API calls. Now let's talk about a common bug with content, 0.text. There's a one-line bug sitting in almost every first Claude integration, reading content $0.text straight off the response. It works perfectly, right up until the model thinks before it answers, and then it silently breaks. This is the anatomy of a message, the array structure that tools, vision, and thinking all plug into without ever changing the envelope. Here's a request and a response side by side. On the request, model, the required max_token ceiling, a top-level system field, the messages array itself, and the newer output_config and thinking controls. On the response, an ID, the content array, never a bare string, stop_reason, and the usage ledger. Every field you'll ever touch in this API lives in one of these two shapes. The habit is simple: loop over content and switch on type, and always keep a catch-all-else branch instead of raising on anything you don't recognize. A single assistant turn can carry a thinking block, then text explaining what it's about to do, then two tool calls issued in parallel, and the versioning policy explicitly permits new block types to show up at any time. Code that assumes content $0.text works today. It breaks the day a thinking block or a tool call shows up first, and that day is coming for every model upgrade. 6 kinds of block, and you'll meet all of them eventually. Text is the words, what you almost always render. Thinking is internal reasoning, hidden by default on the newest models. Tool_use is the model calling a tool you defined. It is what allows the agent to take actions. Tool_result is what you send back after running it. An image is vision input, arriving as base64, a URL, or a file ID from the file's API. Tool use, vision, thinking, citations, all of it is just more block types landing in this same array. Nothing about the envelope itself ever changes. 3 things trip people up here. First, the API is stateless. Messages is your entire memory, so continuing a conversation means appending to your own array and resending everything, which also means earlier turns don't have to be real. You can synthesize an assistant message to steer the model. Second, max_tokens is a ceiling on the whole output, thinking included. Set it too low on a model that reasons deeply and it can exhaust the budget mid-thought. Third, and this one costs people real money, input_tokens is only the tail after your last cache breakpoint, not your total input. A request sending a 200,000 token cache document plus a 50 token question reports input_tokens as 50. Total input is cache_read plus cache_creation plus input_tokens. Read that one field alone and you'll understate cost every time. For more traps. 1. Max_tokens has no default, omit it and you get a 400, full stop. 2. Prefill is dead on Claude for 0.6 and later. Ending your messages array with a partial assistant turn to force a format used to work, now it's a 400 telling you the model doesn't support prefill. Use structured outputs instead. 3. Temperature, top_p, and top_k are rejected outright on Claude for 0.7 and later, on every request, thinking or not, and this is the single highest frequency migration break people hit. For stop_details is null for every stop reason except refusal, so don't write code that dereferences it unconditionally. So, content is an array because a turn is never one thing, messages is your whole memory because the API keeps none of it, and the usage ledger means what it says, not what the field names suggest. Get this module cold and tool use, vision, and thinking all stop looking like new APIs. Next up is choosing a model and a reasoning budget on purpose. If clear, sensible thinking is what you are after, subscribing is the most direct way to get the next one. See you in the next video.